Honest Abe Lincoln by David A. Adler. Abraham Lincoln was born in Kentucky in 1809. He was born in a small log cabin. The cabin had dirt floors. It had just one window. Young Abraham Lincoln chopped wood. He plowed and planted. When he plowed, he often took along a book. He would stop so his horse could rest and he could read. Later, Abraham Lincoln worked in a store. He was also a lawyer and a congressman. In 1860, he was elected president. Honest Abe Lincoln. In 1831, Abraham Lincoln worked in Denton Offutt's store. One evening, a woman bought a half a pound of tea. Early the next morning, Lincoln checked the scales. He found a problem. He knew he had not given the woman a full half pound. Before he even ate his breakfast, he walked a long way to her house. He gave her the missing pound. Another time, at the end of the day, he checked his bills. He found one woman had paid too much. Abraham Lincoln closed the store. He walked almost 3 miles to return what she had overpaid, 6¼ cents. From then on, many people called him Honest Abe Lincoln. Post office in a hat. In 1833, Abraham Lincoln was made postmaster of New Salem, Illinois. Letters and papers were brought to him. He would keep the mail until people came for it. As postmaster, Lincoln could read newspapers for free. He liked that. The people of New Salem liked having him as their postmaster. If an important letter came, he rushed to deliver it. Sometimes he went a few miles to bring someone a letter. Lincoln did not like sitting all day in his office. He often went out. But before he did, he put the mail inside his hat. He looked for people he knew. If he had a letter or newspaper for them, he took off his hat and delivered the mail. Stuck in the mud. As a young lawyer, Abraham Lincoln rode on horseback. He rode from one town to the next. One day, he rode past a muddy field. He saw a pig there, stuck in the mud. Lincoln was wearing a new suit. He did not want to ruin it, so he rode on. As he rode, he thought about the pig. After 2 miles, he stopped. He rode back and saved the pig. Lincoln got back on his horse, and now his clothes were muddy. He told himself he did it all for the pig. Later, he said he knew he really did it for himself. He said he could never have been happy if he had not saved the pig. A talent for hunting. Abraham Lincoln liked to say that some people just have a talent. He often told of a man named Jake. Jake had a talent for hunting. His gun was old and rusted, but each day that he went hunting, he came back with an armload of birds. "Jake, how do you do it?" someone asked. "Oh, I just do it," Jake said. "But how do you do it?" Jake did not want to tell. "It is a secret," he said. "I will keep your secret," the other man said. Jake leaned in close. "You won't tell?" he asked. "No, I won't." "Well," Jake said, "what I do is hide by a fence and make a noise like a turnip. That brings the birds." Jake laughed. Surely, when Lincoln told this story, he laughed too. Of course, Abraham Lincoln was right. Some people just have a talent. Abraham Lincoln had a talent for telling stories. Why Abraham Lincoln grew a beard. It was October 1860. Soon there should be an election. Grace Bedell wrote to Lincoln, "I am a little girl, only 11 years old, but want you should be president." She wrote that he would look better with a beard. Grace Bedell had 4 older brothers. "Part of them will vote for you," she wrote. "If you let your whiskers grow, I will try and get the rest of them to vote for you." In November 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected president. In February 1861, he was on his way to Washington. His train stopped in Westfield, New York. Grace lived there. A large crowd came to the train station. They wanted to see the new president. He had a beard now. He asked to meet Grace. "There she is," a boy in the crowd called out. Lincoln stepped down from the train. He took Grace Bedell's hand. He kissed her cheek. "You see," he said, "I let my whiskers grow for you." President Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln hated slavery. In 1860, in the South, there were more than 3 million African American slaves. People there were not happy to have a president who hated slavery. Soon after Lincoln was elected, 11 southern states broke away from the United States. They would form their own country. Abraham Lincoln led the war to keep the country together. It has been called the War Between the States and the Civil War. The war lasted 4 years and many died. The war ended on April 9, 1865. The nation was one again. The slaves were free. 5 days later, Abraham Lincoln was at a theater. An actor who was not happy that the South had lost the war shot the president. Abraham Lincoln died the next day. A train took his body home to Illinois. Many Americans stood outside to watch as the train passed. They stood and said goodbye to Honest Abe Lincoln. I hope you enjoyed the story. Mimi loves you.